Good afternoon and welcome to State NewsFile. I'm Storm Lenny. Christian Oldale will have a look at sports coming up, but first let's check in with Jordan Bay with the weather.
Yeah, Storm, it's pretty nice out today. We had a pretty mild day, some clouds rolling in and out, but other than that, pretty good. Last year on this day, we got up to around 11.8 degrees. Not too bad. Our high today was supposed to be 9, but we actually climbed up to around 14. And one thing we've been dealing with is that we've had some pretty strong winds up to 24 kilometers an hour, but overall, not such a bad day in the city. Storm?
Thank you, Jordan. We'll have more weather in a bit, but first, Chris, why don't you tell me what's going on tonight for the playoffs?
Well, the Flames kind of dug themselves a little bit of a hole to start the playoffs. They're down 2-1 in the series to the Avalanche. They were outskated, outplayed, outshot last game on Monday. So they're going to really need to do a lot to climb back in, and they have a very important Game 4 on the road in Denver tonight.
Well, we'll see what happens, I guess. Alberta has decided to go back to blue in a landslide victory for Jason Kenney. The Premier-elect made some big promises to help out the economy, but how is that going to affect our oil and gas industry? Kyle Hutton has the reaction to the election.
The Alberta election is over, and it's a bit of a Tory sweep. Albertans came out by the tens of thousands to elect a new government.
I voted in this election. I'm not happiest with the results, but I feel like Jason Kennedy has his interest for Alberta in mind, so I'm hoping he goes through with what he promises and he supports the little guys and not the big corporations.
The new Conservative government has made claims about reforming the carbon tax and building pipelines, something that resonated with a lot of Albertans. The UCP claims it will decrease the corporate tax to 8% from 12%, design a diverse natural gas plan, reduce regulatory red tape, increase efficiencies, while also reviewing the Alberta Energy Regulator within the first 180 days. The president and CEO of the Canadian Association of Petroleum Producers says Alberta has to fight false information about our energy industry.
Canada and Alberta has been the target of, at times, salacious and inappropriate attacks from activists, foreign-funded activists, and that was another clear commitment that we heard last night, that anyone that wants to take a shot that's not founded at our industry will be held accountable, and I think that that's important as well.
The UCP has pledged to spend up to $30 million to combat misleading news and create a war room to examine foreign-funded campaigns trying to slander Canadian oil. But many Albertans don't think the days of high oil prices are returning anytime soon.
I'm not particularly pleased with the turnout in the sense that I think people have elected a government out of fear, and they think that somebody like Jason Kenney can, do magical things like increase the price of oil or, make companies reinvest in Alberta. But realistically, the 80s are over, man. There's no oil boom that's coming back, not the way that it used to.
On top of the promises Kenney has made, the UCP still has the power to turn off the taps on oil if the rest of the country can't get on the same page. For State NewsFile, I'm Kyle Hutton.
Not only did the United Conservative Party win seats in 63 ridings compared to 24 for the NDP, but Jason Kenney's party also captured a clear majority of the popular vote in last night's provincial election. The UCP captured just over 914,000 votes compared to just over 534,000 for the NDP. The Alberta Party received 9.8% of the vote, while the Liberal Party received 0.98%. But the votes aren't all counted yet. There are still more than 1,000 pre-polling ballots that need to be counted in 3 Calgary ridings and 7 other ridings from across the province. With a majority win, the United Conservatives will take on the voice of Albertans, including minority groups like the LGBTQ community. The UCP and the NDP spent a lot of time butting heads over how gay-straight alliances should be handled in schools. Cindy Leddick reports on what the election results mean for how GSAs will operate and its impact on the LGBTQ community.
So they're kind of just trying to regulate something that's part of being human.
A 2017 report by the Alberta government says 53% of LGBTQ youth don't feel safe at school and 30 to 50% are homeless. One of Jason Kenney's platforms has been to put an end to Bill 24, a bill that the NDP government put in place to guarantee the privacy of students who start or join GSAs in schools, leaving it up to them to decide if they want to tell their parents or not. Kenney says the bill just takes away the rights of parents and that educators and administrators should inform parents for the sake of their child's safety. Some students think parents know best.
It would be beneficial for the parents to know, just because they're their parent, and I feel like their parent could do as much as they can to support them.
SAIT's President-elect Ryan Morstad says that while he respects the freedoms of both children and parents, children know best.
But there's also the negative sides of that, where maybe they wouldn't be supportive, and I do know that GSAs are like a lot of children's support networks.
SAIT has plenty of GSAs on campus, and Morstad says it's all about being inclusive.
To promote the people's freedoms in that sense, I think people should join that, no matter what their sexual preferences are.
This election saw the UCP snag a total of 62 seats, while the NDPs only took home 25, adding up to 87, the total number of seats up for grabs. The last time Alberta had just two parties running the show was back in 1993, when it came down to the PCs and the Liberals. For SAIT NewsFile, I'm Cindy Lantic.
Alberta Health Services has issued 150 notification letters to individuals who may have been exposed to tuberculosis at a daycare here in Calgary. The letters include information on arrangements for standard TB assessments, screening, and treatment if required. Only those who receive a letter from AHS are considered possibly exposed to this case. Risk of transmission to these individuals is low, and the case does not present any ongoing risk at the daycare or to the general public. AHS is only informing the public as a matter of transparency and are coordinating follow-up screenings in response to the exposure. In France, the Notre Dame's rector says he's going to close the cathedral in Paris for up to 6 years because the fire has weakened part of the structure. Crews are already doing work to repair the cathedral only a day after the president set a restoration deadline of 5 years. A huge crane has been brought in to deliver wood, and firefighters are closely monitoring the building to determine how much damage was done and what needs to be dismantled to avoid a collapse. France's interior minister has also said that there will be permanent surveillance at the cathedral because there is still a risk to the structure. With summer quickly approaching, students are starting to brace themselves for the exam season. Exams can be very stressful. As Louise Van Dam reports, SAIT has a lot of support for students who want to get the best marks that they can.
With the spring semester coming to a close, exam stress and pressure for students to ace their finals is starting to climb. Common areas and study spaces such as the library have seen an influx in student numbers.
I feel like it helps to get away from kind of where you have to do all the work and where you don't want to be. So kind of just go into the next building over with friends to study and stuff kind of helps a bit.
SAIT is also providing breakfast for free, as well as de-stress kits you can pick up from the library. Some students are also saying it's important to give yourself mental breaks.
I've been at home watching Game of Thrones and Letterkenny the last couple weeks to deal with any stress related to exams, and it helps to just not think about it at all.
A majority of students will be writing their exams here in the gymnasium, but intense testing environments like these can be very difficult to do well in.
The Lamb Learner Success Center provides a safe space for students who struggle with test anxiety and just need some extra time to complete their test. There's also tutors and support staff helping those who come by.
Trying to make them not feel different than any other people. It's when when you're trying to alienate them and you try and treat them differently than the average person, I think that's when they just get a little bit displeased and not themselves. And I think the biggest thing is we want them to take their mind off of their stress, anxiety, and all that.
Even though this time of year can be overwhelming, make sure you're using the resources available to you. That way, you can finish just as strong as you started. For SAIT NewsFile, I'm Louise Van Dam.
Alberta is known for being a staple for some of the biggest films in the last couple decades. Big names like Leonardo DiCaprio, Heath Ledger, and Brad Pitt have come to Alberta to be part of Oscar-winning films, and thanks to our diverse landscape, Alberta will host another film that includes some of the biggest stars from Hollywood. E.T. Monroy joins us live outside the Stangrad building. E.T., there's a new film being shot here in Alberta. What can you tell us about it?
That's right, Storm. And like you've said, we've had some huge Hollywood names come to Alberta to film some of the biggest Hollywood movies. But this time around, it's a little different. It's more of a familiar face, and a former Stampeder, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's coming to Kananaskis to film the sequel to Jumanji.
16 years on this earth. In my 16 years on this earth.
After 2 years, the Hollywood blockbuster movie Jumanji is coming back with a sequel. Director Jake Castain and Columbia Pictures are in Alberta to shoot parts of the second film that include a cast of Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Nick Jonas, and Karen Gillan. Alberta has been home to Oscar-winning films such as The Revenant and other popular films that include Inception and Brokeback Mountain. Alberta's diverse landscape and terrain make it appealing for film companies to come and produce some of the Hollywood's biggest movies in the last decade.
And your infrastructure. So there's a variety of things. They can do the mountains, the valleys, the prairies, the Badlands, and 2 municipalities of over 3 million people in a 3-hour radius. So globally, it's a very unique place to shoot.
Not only does Alberta's landscape attract big Hollywood movies, but first and foremost, you have to be competitive as a jurisdiction to be able to attract them, and secondly, your quality and depth of crew.
We have some of the most Academy, Emmy, and Golden Globe wins in Calgary and Southern Alberta of any jurisdiction in the country over the last 15 years.
Now, I know there's a lot of The Rock haters and Kevin Hart haters, and the first movie didn't get a lot of good reviews, Storm, but I'm excited for the second, the sequel here coming up, so hopefully it's a good one. Back to you.
E.T. Monroy reporting from live outside the Stangrad building. And those are today's top stories. We will have your full forecast for you after the break, but first, Jordan Bay has a look at what's going on around Calgary this week.
If you're looking for a rowdy way to spend your weekend, then head on down to the Dome for the Calgary Roughnecks game for a great Saturday night rivalry matchup against the Saskatchewan Rush. Tickets available on Ticketmaster.com. Have you ever seen a McLaren P1 in person? How about a truck with about 50 lift kits? Well, this weekend at the BMO Centre, the Calgary International Car and Truck Show is there. You can see some beautiful vehicles. Looking to keep your spirits high? Then the 420 Music and Arts Festival might be for you. Head down to the Country Line Saloon tomorrow. Tickets available online. Do you not have a ticket for Game 5 of the Stanley Cup playoffs? Then you can go to the Calgary Flames Red Lot Party and watch the game for free with fellow Flames fans. Go Flames, go. And this weekend you can hop on down to the Calgary Zoo and enjoy the Calgary Zoo Extravaganza. Normal zoo charges apply.
There are hundreds of people living on Calgary streets despite unpredictable weather conditions. The Drop-In Center provides all the services they need to upgrade their life and make it a little better. They provide fresh cooked meals, medical care, and a warm place to stay. The Calgary Drop-In Center is always available to help people in need get back on their feet and start a new and improved life. Contact or donate today at calgarydropin.com.
This is Jackson, and this is Scout. And both of these dogs were once rescue animals. The only reason why was because of their previous owners, not the dogs. At the Cochrane and Area Humane Society, we find good animals, good homes, from their large dog training facilities to the quiet, relaxing cat room. You'll have great spaces to meet and learn about the animals that most interest you. Come check out Cochrane and Area Humane Society today. It's just off Griffin Road.
Welcome back. So, Jord, I hear that we have some good weather out today. We can expect some more good weather over the weekend.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful today. And going into the weekend, we're going to talk about that. There's going to be some issues we're going to have to deal with, but overall, it was a pretty pleasant day in Calgary. And I think most people would agree as we're taking a look at Western Canada today. Not yet, but it's pretty consistent weather all over. There's a lot of different weather patterns in the country. As we take a look at Western Canada now, you can see the only precipitation you're going to see in the Alberta side is in Vancouver, but what else is new? But for the most part, pretty pleasant day. There's actually a jet stream as well in BC, but it's just cutting over top of Vancouver, so they're not getting any of those warmer temperatures. Sunny at Edmonton, pretty sunny all across Alberta. We'll talk about that a little later. As we look more out east, there's actually a low pressure system right around the edge of Winnipeg and Ontario, which we're going to talk about once we look out east. There we go. And one thing to note, sunny in Toronto, 10 degrees. That means Maple Leaf Square is going to be bumping for Game 4 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. As we go up the coast a bit, little colder, but overall still pretty nice. But if you're looking for somewhere even nicer, here's the resorts. Absolutely beautiful in Palm Springs with clear skies. Not a bad day to hit the links. Our hotspot today is Barbados, sitting at 31. Jeez! Surf's up in Honolulu. They're sitting at a nice 23 degrees. And the Golden Knights warmed up Vegas with back-to-back wins as they're at 17. Taking a look at Calgary today, it was only supposed to be 9 degrees, but like I said when I was outside, we actually got up to around 14. Pretty sunny. We had some clouds rolling in and out. Winds coming from the west at up to 24 kilometers an hour. It was 14 earlier, and it's going to get cloudy. As we take a look at the Alberta map, now, you can see one thing, a lot of sun throughout Alberta. The only place you're going to see some pretty consistent cloud is in Grand Prairie. 6 degrees, though, not even that bad for mid-April. All along this main part of Alberta, up through southern and central Alberta, a lot of sun. It was beautiful. Now, around the rest of the country, actually, there's a lot of rain like we saw earlier, but in Alberta, we seem to dodge all that. The hotspot, Medicine Hat, 12 degrees, partly cloudy, but not awful. As we take a look at our 5-day forecast, tonight we're going to get down to around 1, but it's going to stay pretty clear. But here come the clouds. We talked about it earlier. 18 degrees tomorrow is our high. That's gorgeous. But Friday, Game 5, it's going to be raining. So if you're going to head to the outdoor party, make sure you take an umbrella. And then one thing, nobody wants to see some negatives on Saturday, but some negatives means snow. Here's the snow report. Looking for some good spring skiing? Sunshine has you covered with a solid base of 183 centimeters and some cold, but not too cold conditions. It's a great day to hit the slopes of the Rockies. Sticking on the Rockies, Lake Louise is nothing to scoff at with some varied conditions and a new centimeter of snow overnight. It's a good choice. Just a little colder than Sunshine, but that's not too bad. Nikiska got no new snow, but still has a nice base of 135 centimeters and some nice machine-groomed runs. It might be 8 below, but that sunshine will help keep you warm. And don't forget about that amazing hot chocolate. Some varied conditions in Northway today with temperatures around the mountains sitting at around -1. And it's always sad when mountains start to close at around this time of year. And down goes Fernie. They had a solid season, but with temperatures starting to warm up, it's time to say rest in peace, Fernie. Thanks for some great gnar to shred.
So, lots to look forward to at the NHL tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Last night in the NHL, it was a night of craziness. 2 huge eliminations from 2 juggernaut teams, a lot of surprises coming out of that, and this is why I love the playoffs. It really is an unpredictable atmosphere, and it gives me goosebumps every year. It's so much fun. We'll get to that in just a little bit, but first, the Calgary Flames are down 2-1 in their first-round series against the Colorado Avalanche. Game 4 goes tonight in Denver. Jake Foster joins us live from the State Newsroom. Jake, is there any positives to take away from the game we saw on Monday night?
Well, Chris, after Game 3 allowing 56 shots and 6 goals, it seemed as if the Calgary Flames had hit rock bottom. The only good thing about hitting rock bottom, there's only one place to go.
The Colorado Avalanche's dominating performance in Game 3 gave Flames fans a cruel reminder of October 25th. Don't remember? Well, the Flames lost 9-1 at the hand of the Pittsburgh Penguins. This game was an eye-opener for the Flames, and after that, they went on to win 8 out of their next 11 games. Then let's fast forward to February 12th. The Flames get dominated by the Tampa Bay Lightning, but thanks to great goaltending, only lose by a score of 6-3. They would follow that game up with a shootout loss to the Florida Panthers, and then would go on to win 7 straight. So, yes, the Flames have been able to respond after putting on a performance similar to the one on Monday night. But this is the playoffs, and the response time needs to be immediate. And that starts with the containment of Nathan MacKinnon, which, as Bill Peters reminds us, is no simple task.
No, he's a good player. So, a young guy getting better all the time. You see that around the league with all the young guys, right? Full of confidence, big guy, skating well, very powerful. So we're going to have to make sure we limit some of that ice that he's had available through 3 games.
And for Mark Giordano, he believes here the key with these young guys is to have them settle in and relax.
We just weren't patient enough, so we'll clean that up. We have to obviously take away some of their rush speed and their speed through the neutral zone, and we'll be fine.
Chris, I am confident that we will see a completely different Flames team than we have seen in the past 2 games. Now, that first goal has been so important in this series, so let's look to see the Flames get off to a hot start. Chris?
Jake Foster reporting live in the State newsroom. Tonight is a huge night for Flames fans. Chapter 4 of the biggest surprise story in the NHL playoffs happened last night. A Nationwide Arena was rocking for Game 4 between the Lightning and the Blue Jackets. The Lightning get Nikita Kucherov back after his 1-game suspension for the game. Take a look, 3 minutes in on the power play, Alexander Texier wires it past Vasilevsky, his first career playoff goal. He is pumped. Minute later, Pierre-Luc Dubois takes it, picks up the rebound, and buries it. It's 2-0 early for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Later, Stamkos undresses Seth Jones and breaks in his first of the series. Bit of a snipe there. Breaks the shutout bid for Bobrovsky in the game. Later, Zacharinsky wires it and Cam Atkinson scores. Looks to go in, but hold on, the goal doesn't count. It was offside. Later on, Olivier Borkstrand scores on the open cage in the third there to make it 4-3 for the Blue Jackets. Pretty open net there over Vasilevsky's stick, and he is excited as well. And later on, Artemi Panarin puts the dagger in the heart of the Tampa Bay Lightning as they go on to win their game 7-3 and advance to round 2. So with the win, the Blue Jackets made history by becoming the first team to sweep the President's Trophy winner in the first round. Alexander Texier scored his first 2 playoff goals and was one of 6 Columbus players to have 2 points on the night. Series win gives the Jackets their first in their history, and they will play the winner of Toronto and Boston in the second round. The Lightning weren't the only juggernaut in trouble last night. The Pittsburgh Penguins faced the New York Islanders, also down 3-0 in the series. Just 35 seconds in, Jake Gensel wires it to give the Penguins a 1-0 lead. Absolute snipe. He loves scoring in the playoffs, 24 goals in 41 career games. Later on, Matt Barzal feeds Jordan Eberle for his own snipe. His 4th of the playoffs, he's on fire to start. Later in the first, Josh Bailey feeds his buddy Brock Nelson, and he puts it in 2-1 for the Isles early. In this playoff, Sidney Crosby hasn't had much luck, unfortunately. Wires it off the post on a wide open net when Robin Lehner wasn't looking. No luck there for Crosby. And later in the game, Josh Bailey will send it down the ice for the empty net. That will take it 3-1 for the Islanders as they win their series. Penguins' Achilles heel all series was their offense. They had trouble scoring, and this game was no exception. Matt Murray had a solid game, but not much in support. On the winning side, Jordan Eberle continued to prove his doubters wrong after a tough regular season. He scored his 4th goal in as many games. The Islanders will play the winner of Washington and Carolina in the second round. The Winnipeg Jets' high-flying offense was a head-turner in the regular season, but they've had some trouble with the St. Louis Blues so far. They faced off last night with the Jets looking to even the series. Let's go to the first. Ben Sherratt takes the puck and is stoned by Jordan Binnington. He has been red hot in his rookie season. Now moving into the second, Brandon Tanev puts a breakaway, and he lifts it over the net. Not happy with himself there. Later in the second, he's still a little pissed there. Later in the second, Tarasenko snipes it, does what he does best, igniting the Tarasenko show on the power play, putting the Blues up 1-0. Later on, Mark Scheifele, Connor goes to Scheifele in front again, and he tips it in. Good pass there by Connor to put it into the net in front. It is 1-1 tied for the Jets now. And he is celebrating on the ice, but Kyle Connor gets a chance to be the hero in overtime. He puts it in off the skate of Binnington for the win. So with that win, the Jets successfully tied the series despite a great effort from Jordan Binnington from the Blues. Mark Scheifele had a great game, scoring the tying goal, adding an assist, and had more good opportunities for him. Kyle Connor also had a goal and an assist, and brings his point total in the playoffs up to 5. Game 5 is on Friday night in Winnipeg. Prepare for the whiteout. The Toronto Raptors were shockingly upset by the Orlando Magic in Game 1, and they were hoping to reverse their fortunes last night, especially Kyle Lowry, who was held pointless in Game 1. Early on, Lowry drains his three-pointer, and the fans in Jurassic Park are loving it. Kawhi Leonard had a field day last night. He drains the three with ease there. Later on, he gets a pass from Marc Gasol and goes in for the layup. Beautiful stuff there. Later again, he drains another three. Makes it look effortless. The crowd is all pumped up about that. He finished with 37 points. Another three right here, and he knows he's doing well. Sets up for another layup, dropping 37 to go with 4 rebounds. So the Raptors even up the series against the 7th-ranked Magic. Kawhi wasn't the only contributor. Kyle Lowry had 22 points and 7 assists on the night in a return to form. And Pascal Siakam dropped 19 with 10 boards. Former Raptor Terrence Ross and Aaron Gordon were the big contributors for Orlando in the game. Game 3 is on Friday. Junior lacrosse is just around the corner. And for the Junior A Mounties, that means one thing: redemption. And preparation for the upcoming season has already started. One thing that had a huge impact on the Mounties in previous season was the size and strength of the younger players. This year's team has been taking extra measures to make sure that doesn't happen again. The players have been in the gym 4 times a week for the past 5 months. The last year, the Mounties made it to the Minto Cup, but were unable to win a game. This year, the Mounties are setting the groundwork for the future as they hope to be the first team to bring a Minto to Alberta. Assistant captain Joel Garvey has high expectations for the young guys joining the squad.
It's great to see the commitment from everybody on the team, returning guys, and even the guys on the 50-man roster. They've been impressive both on the floor and in the gym, and we're expecting big things from them like this year and in the future.
It's currently underway, and the season starts in early May, while the Minto Cup will be held in Langley in August. Those are today's top sports stories, and yeah.
So big night for sports, I guess just big week going on right now. Those are today's top stories. We'll be back after the break.
The Cochrane Area Humane Society provides surrounding community members the opportunity to become pet owners. The Cochrane Area Humane Society offers new pet owners educational classes that teach responsible pet ownership. You can get involved with the Cochrane and Area Humane Society by visiting them or by calling 403-932-2072.
Why do we got a straw?
Oh, for my drink, bro.
Yeah, here, man. Look.
Bring
the prompter down.
Welcome back. So we have Easter coming up here this coming weekend, actually. So let's take a look at a cute bunny.
Jess! That is not the look of forgiveness. I can't. It's like death.
Jess.
Oh my god, that's not human. Wait, it's just looking over every time. And the cat's just staring at
Bunny, for sure. So Jordan, why don't you tell us a bit about the weather for this Easter weekend?
Well, you know, it's not going to be great, but it's going to be nice. We're going to have a nice day today, but then throughout the rest of the weekend, it's going to get pretty cloudy. You can see tonight we get down to around 1. It's clear tonight, and then this is when the cloud comes in. A little bit of rain on Friday. That's not good. And then the thing that scares me most, -2 on Saturday. I don't like that, but I think the thing that hurts the most about this Easter, this might be the first Easter I can't do an Easter egg hunt.
Oh no. Well, that's all for today. From all of us at State Newsfile, have a great night.